Those are all good questions that you can put in your business plan if you're starting off, or those are things that you'll know as you've been in business for 12, 24 months. You're going to start to see trends on how people are paying you. So that'll all help factor into your business projections and or your current business that you're working for. And then from there, we'll talk about the locations. And then ultimately what we're trying to get to at the end of the day, after we look at all of your projections, your expenses, your historical analysis, if there is some, is we're trying to, for commercial lending purposes, get to a 1.25 debt service coverage. That's kind of the golden number in the banking industry for the most part. Sure. So really what that means is you're trying to collect you're trying at the end of the day have 25 cents better than the dollar you collect in terms of your loan payment, okay? So you pay, you have all of your revenue come in, you pay all of your expenses, you pay your loan payment, and you still have 1.25 or 25% over as a cushion, right? Why is that important? As that number starts to go down, you're getting closer and closer to a break-even analysis is what you like to call it, or a 1-to-1 ratio, where, yes?
So basically, like, it might be a bad idea to own a house prior to trying to get a loan because your practice won't bring in enough money to pay the practice bills and the practice debt and the house debt.
That is what we would look at and discuss as a global cash flow analysis. So Dr. Wyman talked a little bit, like, for example, let's say you're married. We're going to look at all of those factors as far as paying your personal expenses also. So you're generally going to be taking a salary from your business. Maybe, hopefully, you'll have a profit at the end, and you'll be taking potentially a distribution from the business as well. All that's going to factor into paying your house also. You can certainly go out and get mortgage financing. That's just all going to be baked into that number at the end of the day. And we want to make sure that you have adequate, some adequate reserves if possible, but also being able to cover that. And what that number really means, and that number moves all the time throughout any type of business cycle, but that's the comfort point for the bank. Anything below that, we know that there could be a potential for what we call a cash flow crunch. Yes? Mm-hmm.
I just saw a scenario where a new grad, $450,000, $500,000 in student loans,
Sure.
came out and he's only been out a year, but he bought a brand new GMC Acadia, which is $500, $600 a month, then bought a new home. And essentially the home put him over the limit and he wasn't able to buy the practice because he didn't have enough cash flow to support those debts.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say, if you are going to buy a home, be wary of what it can do. I mean, you could potentially limit your buying power.
Great example, and that's where we talked about a little bit. Your personal success and your personal choices are going to impact your business choices in some way. Let's just say, for example, you come out of school and boom, now you're making a great salary. And you're going to have all these decisions to make, right? All these personal decisions. Perhaps you're going to have some family influence as far as buying certain types of houses, certain types of cars. Keep all that in mind. We talked about the business plan a little bit in the beginning as you're getting going. If you're starting a business, you might want to take a modest salary in the beginning until you get things up and running and you feel comfortable. And then you have any excess profits, you can start pulling that, and then potentially look for the nicer house, the bigger house, the nicer car, things like that. But to his point, that's all going to be looked at. So if you have $500,000 in student loan debt, and then you go out and buy a $500,000 house, you have a mortgage on that, all that's going to be factored in at the end of the day, because you're going to most likely want to, if you're doing an acquisition deal, you're going to buy in at $1 to $2 million, I'd say easily, to buy someone's book of business, buy all their goodwill, all of their accounts, and that's not even taking into consideration the real estate side as well. Okay. So all those things factor in. We call that a global cash flow analysis, where we're looking at your business. We're also looking at what you have done personally. So it's just understanding where you're at. Everybody's going to be different in that scenario based on the levels of student loan debt that you might have taken on, how quickly you accelerate your salary in the beginning, depending on the different types of positions you might acquire coming out of school. Everybody's different. But what remains the same is that, Dr. Wyman brought up a good point, is that if your personal leverage starts to get too high, meaning you're starting to take on a lot of debt really quick as you've just exited school and you have a higher income, that can reduce your ability to get financing to start as far as buying into a practice right away. So just keep all of that in mind. These are all personal choices that you're going to make. These are business choices that you're going to make, but they're all connected together at the end of the day. So, talking to an accountant, talking to maybe a dentist that's several years in and maybe a mentor of yours, understanding what they went through in the beginning. Cash flow crunches happen in all different types of businesses in the beginning, especially when you're starting off. So if you have a huge personal expense that you have to handle every month on top of trying to get your business running, you can create some stressful situations for yourself. And we factor that in as a bank also, but we're also trying to understand your projections when you're starting your business as well. And that's why you'll get a lot of questions from us of how are you trying to achieve this goal? Like, how many doctors are going to be working there? And that's on the W-2 side and on the business, creating your own business and starting your own business as well. It's just different factors really that come into play. So that's just really a high level. Does anybody have any questions as far as business, debt service coverage, lines of credit, what we talked about as far as insurance receivables, or anything else that might be on your mind? It's kind of a high level discussion of it. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's an existing business in place, though, just for the question, and you want to buy shares into that company. Okay, we do see that. So generally, that's a good problem. We've seen where, let's say a dentist has started out, they've ramped up very quickly, and they need more help, right? Or they want to expand. Generally, that's a good thing. It's going to be a very similar type of process. We're going to take a look at, again, yourself personally. Maybe you're starting off, you're a W-2 employee at another at another business, and you're looking to buy into that, or you're working there and you want to buy into that practice, right? We're going to look at that. That's still considered startup. You're 9 months in. So we're going to stress some things. We're going to stress the revenue, if you will. We're going to make sure that we have a really good understanding of that. But generally, if you're buying into that situation, they want to offer some type of equity position to a doctor in order to bring them on for their services as well. So, but we would just have to run the numbers, to be honest, and project that out. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the chairs itself, how much revenue. We always can break it down to, all right, so if you have a 10-chair office, what is that producing on a monthly basis? We're going to look at that. A lot of this in the beginning comes into management. There's a lot of discussion about that. That's part of your another good part of your business plan is the management piece. When we're lending for a startup institution, we're putting stock into the doctors themselves also. Do we have a good understanding of what they're trying to do? Do we believe that they can scale to the extent of that? We're going to sensitize your revenue a little bit also. I'd say anywhere from 30% is kind of a good starting number. We'll take a look there, depending on your insurance mix. And then we're just going to want to understand how you're getting paid from that perspective also. We talked about the receivables a little bit. What's your payer mix look like? Those are all, I would say, like factors that we would look at right out of the gate. How much are you looking to pay yourself if you're buying into the practice? How much is the other doctor? How much are they taking? Are they willing to make some arrangements until that business hits the next level? And then really just your expenses that are involved with that also. Are you with another doctor in there? Your supplies are going up. Are you going to need another facility? What's that look like also? So those are just some things that I think we would communicate and try and get a really good understanding of. Any other questions as far as?
If you have any additional questions, we'll make sure that Jessica has our information.
Yeah.
And you want to give us a call, or we'll give you just the general. If you feel like you didn't get your questions answered, we're happy. You can certainly feel free to reach out to us.
Mm-hmm. One thing that we always like to say is, we're trying to, just build relationships, but we're also trying to, just create trust with our clients. We try and do that all the time. So they can come with us any types of questions, business related, banking related. Susan, Mr. Cohen here to discuss accounting. If you need some assistance as far as legal's concerned, we have a lot of good contacts in that space also. And also in the SBA space as well. We have an SBA department here at the bank also that looks at all kinds of startup businesses. So we have a lot of different resources here in the bank, not just from a lending perspective, but also just from an advice perspective also. So feel free to bounce any other questions you have off of us.